All right, guys, welcome to Pallet Flipping 101 or an informational video. We've got some stuff that we want you to ask yourself and to be honest with yourself about going into pallet flipping. It's not for everybody. It's a lot of work and sometimes not a lot of profit, and it's just one of those things that's not really conducive to every person out there. So before we get started, hit that subscribe button, like and share, visit our sponsors, and let's get started. Okay, why do you want to go into the pallet flipping business? You need to ask yourself that. What is your why? All of us have a why for everything that we do. So why is it that you want to start flipping pallets? You know, is it because you're trying to get extra income? Do you want it to be your only income? Is it something you just thought was fun to do, maybe as an at-home project and selling on eBay or something along those lines? Did you see it on TV and think, hey, that's cool, they can do it, I can do it? You know, you think people are making really great money at it, but there's probably more people that fail at it because they go into it not knowing the ins and outs and not being prepared for the things that they'll come up against when they go into the pallet flipping business. You know, one of the things you really need to understand is what is the market in your area. You need to know that is this something you're going to sell on eBay? Is this something that you're going to sell in a storefront? Are you going to have a bin store? Are you going to flea market this? Are you going to do an auction? Are you going to do live auction? Are you going to do online auction? Are you going to do marketplace? There's going to be many avenues that you can sell the product. The product is something that you want to carefully consider, and you want to do a market survey. And if you've never done a market survey before, sometimes they're very difficult to do, to get people to actually react and to let you know what it is that's needed in that area. You can start by asking your friends and family. Say, what do you think about somebody that sold baby goods, had a baby goods store or a pet store, because we don't have a good pet center here, or somebody that sells cookware or whatever type of merchandise that you want to specialize in, or if you just want to do general merchandise. It's always something that is ever changing, because if you flood your market, you might have to move on to something different. So carrying a good variety is key. You might not always have the same variety, but you need to see what it is your target market is going to be. You need to see what it is that you want to buy in the way of pallets. Picking pallets as far as your merchandise goes can vary greatly. Do you want to sell returns? You can sell Amazon returns, Walmart returns, Lowe's returns. You can sell Home Depot returns, Bed Bath & Beyond. Just about any of the big box stores, big retailers, you can sell their returns and pick those pallets up pretty readily. But there are things that you have to be aware of and to know going into buying returns that 90% of them are unmanifested, and those 10% that are manifested aren't real accurate. Most of your returns are going to be a surprise. There's good items to be found in some return pallets. You need to shop around for a pallet supplier. Go and visit them, visit with some of their customers. You need to talk to them and say, can I get a hold of some of your customers and visit with them to see what their results are with your product and what they've been buying, and they should be more than happy to provide you with those names and numbers. Those that aren't, you might not have such good reviews. The other deal that you need to look for when purchasing these pallets is, if it's returns, be prepared to have upwards towards 20-30% in bad product. We've been real fortunate. We've been able to go out and pick our pallets strategically. The suppliers that we use, we know and we have always gotten good pallets, less than 10% most of the time. So we feel real fortunate in that area. We get a lot of new product on those pallets. You know, another item or type of pallet you might look at would be shelf pulls. Now, shelf pulls are going to cost you more than what returns cost you, because more of these are new products, damaged box, open box, or overstock. Those types of products, you need to be prepared to get 2 or 3 pallets sometimes of the same product. So now you need more storage space. Some of these are going to be manifested, some aren't. The manifests, in our experience, are not always accurate. You might think you're getting 7 of something that's worth $300 a piece, and you might get 1. You have to read the manifest carefully, and it states right there on the manifest that items can differ and items may vary. So knowing that going in, don't always trust what the manifest tells you. You're going to have a good idea of what you're going to get, but you're not always going to be 100% accurate in that. You know, and like I said, those items, shelf pulls and overstock, generally sell a little better, a little higher, because they are new products. They're not, you don't have any chances of getting very many used products. Every now and then you'll get some mixed up in there, but you know, it's something that you have to deal with. That's the nature of the beast. So another type of pallet that you can get pretty regular is what they call a salvage pallet. Now, that doesn't mean that these items are totally destroyed. It doesn't mean that they're all no good. A salvage pallet can consist of anything from something too large to ship or put in a box, to something that has a piece missing or doesn't work and needs minor repairs. These type of pallets are good for people who can fix things, who like to tinker. This is also where the stuff that comes in on your other pallets that aren't quite up to par, that don't work maybe, or have a little bit of damage to them, these can be put in that salvage category. Now, if you get a lot of this stuff, you need to find somebody. If you can't do it yourself, you need to find somebody who is willing to take on these little projects and do the little electrical things that need to be done, or soldering, or gluing wood pieces back together and making them look new again. This is something that needs to be done so that you don't lose money. You want to work out a deal with somebody, either come in and fix them for a nominal fee or trade them part of the product for it. The other side of that coin is they might be willing to purchase those products, and you might be able to at least recoup your cost. Don't ever throw anything away without first trying to recoup your cost. It might take a little time, but that's what this game is. It's a game of time management, logistics, and marketing. So with that being said, you might buy some refurbished items. There's a lot of items out there that you can purchase that are television sets, a lot of electronics that are refurbed. You can buy cookware that is refurbed, like cookers and microwaves and things like that. These products are going to cost you quite a bit more. There's not quite as much markup in them. And depending on how you are selling, whether it's storefront, auction, eBay, or one of those items, might not quite bring back what you're willing to make, you know, what you want to make on those items. They're really hard to move at a good profit if you don't have a market in your area for those items. You know, you can get new damaged in box pallets, warehouse damaged, as a lot of them are called. It's all new products that were damaged in the warehouse. Either the box was torn open, the pallet was hit with a forklift and damaged a lot of items in the pallet. They might have run a forklift pallet through a bunch of items and bent up a bunch of things. Therefore, you'll probably wind up with a whole pallet of items that are half damaged, half not. And that's pretty good. You know, you can make your money back a lot of times on those. my experience with them, when you buy warehouse damaged goods, you can expect up to a 50% loss in those items. So you have to be able to buy it right and be able to make it work for you. You know, again, the market in your area is going to dictate what types of products you buy. Like I say, ask your family, ask your friends, and ask complete strangers off the street what they would like to see in a store, or if they'd like to see something online, or, you know, do your due diligence at that. Don't skip in that area, because that's going to give you a lot of information that will help you get over the startup of your business. You know, and speaking of a business, you need to know what the requirements of your area or your state are to start a small business. Most small businesses get an EIN number, okay, which is an employer's identification number. It's a federal number. It's free to get online. You can Google it, search it online. They'll issue you a number so you don't have to use your Social Security number. It legitimizes your business as a legitimate business. Do you need a business license for your city or town? Are you going to have a storefront? Do you need a license to work out of your home? Are you going to need a tax ID number? Do you have to collect sales tax? All of these things need to be answered before you make your first pallet purchase, and you need to have all this set up. Are you planning just to run it out of your house, out of your garage? You really need to check on that. Some neighborhoods don't allow that. Some cities don't allow that. So be cautious, because you don't want to start something, sink a lot of money into it, and then have the city come by and tell you you can't do it. And then you have to regroup and start all over again. So if you're looking to start a legitimate business, what are you going to use for capital? Do you have enough capital in the bank to carry you through? If this business is going to be a sole source of income for you, do you have enough capital to be able to quit your job, do this full time, and make a living? Chances are, right off the bat, it's going to be a struggle. Most small businesses, especially right now, with all the COVID and everything going on, storefronts can't open. People are having a harder time. People are trying to sell online. People aren't buying because they don't have as much ready cash as they used to. A lot of people are out of work. So now is a really tough time to do this, and I know there's a great interest in it right now for people trying to make extra money, but you have to understand there's a lot of other people out there trying to make extra money banking on you buying from them. So you've got to keep that in mind, that there might not be as big a market right now for what you're selling as there will be, say, next year when all this is off and over with. So, you know, are you going to finance your business? Is another thing you need to look at. If you're going to borrow money to do this business, you know, I have a tendency to say don't. If you don't have the capital, the working capital to get it started on a shoestring or in a big way, I would say don't set yourself up for failure by borrowing a lot of money. Even though interest rates and stuff are low right now, there's no guarantee with a business that it's going to work. Did you do all your due diligence coming into this? If you did, that's fine, but that doesn't mean that it's going to follow suit with all the marketing and stuff that you've done so far as surveys and things like that go. So, you know, you've got to understand these things going in. The risk in starting your own business is fairly high. A lot of businesses don't succeed. Now, I'm not trying to discourage you. I want you to get out there and I want you to succeed in this business, but I want to give you the tools and be upfront with you about what the reality of this business is. Okay, we sell online auction, we sell marketplace, we sell out of the warehouse. We have clientele that follow us, we're stepping up and we're going nationwide with our business. But that's not for everybody. You know, it's taken us some time to build up to this point. So be patient with it. You've got to realize that this is a lot of work. It's not, I'm going to go buy a pallet, I'm going to put it in my garage, I'm going to unbox it, I'm going to put it on the shelf, and I'm going to sell it one piece at a time. You're going to wind up with a whole lot of stuff on your shelves that don't sell. You've got to be prepared for that. That's why we have a huge warehouse. We do our auction business, and we have a turnover on our product. Every week we turn over product. Every 2 weeks we have an auction. We take 1 week to set the auction up. We take another week to market and sell that auction, and then we close that auction. It gives people a chance to look at what we have and what we're doing. It's a lot of work to go into it. It's a lot of late nights. It's a family deal. We have a lot of our family come down and help us to do this. We have a lot of stuff that we put on Marketplace, that we put on a whole lot of different areas to be able to sell and make enough profit to continue to the next spot. All right, so if you want to run your own business, you've got to be willing to accept hard work, long hours, and really low pay for a while. If you're successful right away, kudos to you. Man, that's a great thing. But you've got to understand most people are not successful in the first year, the second year, the third year. Sometimes it takes 5 years for a business to really take off and take a good foothold. So you've got to be patient with it. You've got to work it every day, not give up on it. It is a full-time job. You know, you've got to know your bookkeeping. You've got to be able to pay your taxes. You've got to stay on top of these things that you generally don't have to do when you work for somebody else, because they do all that. They take care of your taxes. They take care of everything that needs to be paid. They take care of the books. They take care of those other things that go on behind the scenes. So now that's your job, along with finding the product, ordering the product, negotiating the shipping on that product, and getting it in and getting it unloaded. So there's a lot to the logistics of this. I suggest that you get with 2 or 3 shipping brokers and get a working relationship going with them to help you get truckloads at an affordable price, or shipping on pallets at an affordable price. We've had quotes anywhere from $1,500 to over $5,000 on the same truckload. So you can't just take the first bid. You've got to know about what you're willing to pay, how far it is, what the going rate per mile is, and be able to work off of that and know that you can go to that broker and say, okay, X number of miles, I'm willing to pay X number of dollars for it, find me somebody. And they generally do. And they'll call you back and you'll be able to negotiate those terms a lot of times. So keep that in mind. This is your business. Those are your dollars that you're throwing out the window if you pay too much for freight. If you pay too much for pallets, that's your money that you're throwing out the window. If you open a box, I've seen people open boxes and look at an item in a box and say, I can't sell that, and toss it off to the side. That's not an attitude to have. Somebody bought that. That's why you have it. It can be resold. If you don't want to take the time to clean something that needs to be cleaned, then sell it as used and let them know it's used, it's got oil on it or whatever. Be upfront with them, be honest with them, and they'll come back no matter what the product is. If you describe it accurately and you're honest with them and upfront completely, they will return time after time again, because they know that the description that they read is an accurate one, and they have prepared for it going into it. So if you try to hide things from people, your business won't last long at all. because bad word of mouth spreads faster than good. I guarantee you, every time. So, you know, in your garage, if this is where you're really wanting to start your business at home, in your garage, I hope you have a 2 or 3 car garage or a storage building to be able to store things in. You're going to wind up with a lot of things left over on the shelf that you can't sell right now because maybe it's seasonal, maybe it's something that is in a different marketplace than what you're trying to sell. These are all things that you've got to be aware of going into this business. You need to know that you're going to have items like Christmas trees in June. You're going to have Halloween stuff in January. You're going to have things that don't fit the season that you're in. You're going to wind up with lawnmowers in the middle of the winter. These are things you've got to prepare for because you'll have to store those items until that season comes about. And I see a lot of people that work in their garage or work out of their garage that you can't hardly move around their garage, but they're unwilling to market that at a lower market and move it. So any inventory that you sit on is money that is costing you. It costs you money to hold on to things for long periods of time. You need to turn the inventory over. If that means having a garage sale, a yard sale, if that means taking your stuff and going to the local flea market. Now let me clarify something on the flea market end of this deal. The flea market is something that happens like on weekends, where you take your stuff in, you set up your booth, and you sell, and you pack it up, and you go home. I've seen some people state that they sell in a flea market, and it's a consignment mall, not a flea market. They might call it a flea market, but they have a booth that's unattended. They take people go in there and shop and bring their product up front. They pay a commission to that area to sell that product for them. That is not the true meaning of a word of a flea market. That's a consignment mall. I don't recommend selling in a consignment mall. It's a lot of inventory will sit there. You don't get a lot of exposure on it. You're dependent on people walking through that particular area and seeing that particular item that they want to make an impulse buy. You're not in the impulse buy market per se in that category, but you are in others like eBay, Marketplace, virtual garage sale. A lot of those areas like that, you know, you can put up good pictures, good descriptions, and a good price. If you can take the price of the item and take it down to 50% of that price and sell it on one of those places, and they come and pick it up, that's good money in your pocket. If you turn around and sell that thing on eBay and you pay the eBay percentage and you pay for freight and stuff, you eat into your profit pretty heavily, especially if it's only a few dollars. It's a lot of work for very little money. The return on eBay sometimes is not everything it's cracked up to be. Marketplace is for us is a little bit better. Local advertising is a little bit better. We try to do word of mouth. We do Facebook ads. We do Facebook commercials. We have one of the greatest videographers around. He takes care of us, and he does stuff for us that you can't hardly find. So I would suggest as part of your marketing, you would find a videographer. You can use ours. He'll travel anywhere in the nation to do. He's a drone pilot. He has all the cameras and all the gear to do everything that you want to have done. He'll shoot you a commercial for TV. He'll shoot you a commercial for Facebook. He'll do anything it is you need to do. He'll even do your YouTube videos like this. So I encourage you to get in touch with Dan and look at those things that he can help you with. Visit with him, and he'll give you some ideas on what he can do for you. So everybody wants to know, how many pallets do I need to start with? And man, that's a tough question. we've already covered, what can you afford? Are you financing this, or are you using your own money? Are these pallets, are they, returns? Are they new? Several different factors go into this, and we want you to make informed decisions. That's why I strongly encourage people to go and visit with wholesale distributors. We use Southern Liquidation out of Arkansas a lot. Well, there's several others that we use also, but we have found for Jake and Chris, they have been phenomenal in their help that they give us. The packaging that comes in on their pallets is consistent. You're not going to buy a pallet this week and it be total junk, and buy a pallet next week and be #1 good stuff. That's something that you need to look at in your suppliers. They're consistent across the board. They have many other venues that they purchase from. So they've got where you can do Amazon, any of the big box stores, Bed Bath & Beyond, and things like that. So once you find out what your niche is that you want to sell, and focus primarily on that with a little bit of outlying product that's either relational or something that people can use along with that. So we talked a little bit about storage capacity and some of the items that you're going to need to start flipping pallets. If you're working out of your house, you need to look at getting your stuff delivered. If you're buying 1 or 2 pallets, 3 pallets, whatever it is, getting that delivered with a truck with a lift gate on it. You'll need to have yourself a pallet jack, which you can buy at most any of the Harbor Freight or Northern Tool or just about any other place that you want to go to and sell you a pallet jack. That way you can move your pallets around once you get them in there and arrange things. You want to be sure that you're able to accept the freight as it comes in. You don't want your freight company to be chasing you all over the county trying to figure out when you're going to be home and when you're not. That's something you can follow your tracking number and be able to be sure and be home when they deliver your freight for you. Last thing you want is for them to drop it off in the street out in front of your house. If you're planning on using a warehouse, I suggest you get a forklift, a pallet jack, and you work in that manner. A lot of the truck drivers will help you unload. They'll bring the pallets back to the back of the truck for you to unload. Or you can hire a lift gate. Now, with a lift gate, you need to understand that a lift gate's going to cost you more money. And the more you spend, that's the less profit that you can take in. We talk about the money that you spend. You spend money on these pallets and you come across the broken items or the things you don't think you can sell. There's always a market for it. You might have to spend a little bit of extra time with it, but bottom line is, if you don't spend that time with it, that's money you leave laying on the table and you're never going to recover it. So try to make something on everything you get in there. There are people out there that will buy broken and damaged merchandise because they know they can fix it. And so, with that being said, you need to look for those people in your area. Talk to your friends, talk to your family. They know people who tinker with stuff like that all the time, who might be willing to help you out and fix things for either a nominal fee or just buy everything that you have that you don't want to sell. So, there's an avenue out there. Take some time. Don't throw your hands up and say, well, it takes too much time to mess with that, because, what else have you got? This is your time and your money invested in this. You deserve to be able to recoup all you can out of it, or else you're doing yourself an injustice. When you start your business, if you're starting in a storefront or if you're starting in a warehouse, and even in your home, you're going to need to set up an area aside for an office, so you can do inventory. You can take and have a place to do your computer, your books, You know, you're going to need some office supplies and office equipment to be able to do your day-to-day operation, to keep track of things so you know where you're at. The worst thing that you can do is not keep track of anything and then wake up one day and you're broke, because that happens to 90% of the businesses that fail, is they fail to keep track of where their money is and where their product is. You know, if you don't keep track of those things, then you will probably fail, because like I say, you'll wake up one day, you're broke, you have no inventory and no way to recoup. So these are some things that you need to be aware of. You know, you're going to need some video equipment, you're going to need some photography equipment to be able to take good quality pictures with good lighting so that you can get your product out there and have others see it. Bad photography, bad lighting, and a very bad image won't sell anything. You've got to make it crisp, clean, clear, and understandable. You've got to make sure that all of these things fall in line with each other. Again, I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to take the time to understand your business. Take some classes, take some business law classes. You know, go out there and talk to business owners about the struggles that they face and the things that they wish they'd done differently, the things that they would have never done. You know, a lot of them will sit there and tell you, you know what, if you're going to do this, these are some things, mistakes that I made. Listen to those people, listen to the mistakes they made, and also listen to the successes that they've had, because this is going to do nothing but help you to grow. Now, a business is something that it's just like a baby. It grows. You know, it comes along, you've got it, you get started, and it's got to learn how to crawl before it can walk or before it can run. You know, there's very few people out there that are lucky enough and fortunate enough to have a business that hits the ground running. You hear that all the time. Man, my business hit the ground running, took off, and we ain't looked back. Great, man, I'm happy for you. But it's not something that happens to every person that's out there. You know, it's a struggle. It's an everyday thing that you have to come up with. So, I tell you what, hit that subscribe, smash that like, and share. Because if you know other people that are wanting to get into this business, we can help you. We've got unboxing videos coming up from Southern Liquidation, and we've got some other videos that's going to come up and help you with your business. I want to know what your questions are. I want to know what you think about this video. I want to know what we can do to help you. We're here to help. We're not here to criticize anybody or tell them that they're doing a bad job. We want to understand and help guide you through your business so that you will be successful. See ya.